Hello, and welcome to a story summary that will both pierce your heart and leave you enchanted. Let us begin this tale by introducing an adorable little creature named Takopii. He is a spirited alien from the Happy Planet. His noble mission, to spread happiness all over Earth. But not long after his arrival, Takopii finds himself in a bit of trouble, lost and confused in this unfamiliar world. While Takopii is struggling, a young girl named Shizuka appears. She is a fourth-grade student, often seen with a vacant look in her eyes. Without saying much, Shizuka quietly helps Takopii. This unexpected encounter becomes the start of a strange yet profound bond, a thread of fate that ties together a happiness-spreading alien and a girl who seems to have lost everything. Tig, with his sensitive alien intuition, Takopii quickly senses that something is wrong with Shizuka. Behind the rare, faint smiles she gives, there hides a deep sorrow, a burden that seems to weigh heavily on her soul. Takopii, who is used to constant smiles and laughter on his home planet, cannot understand how such a sweet girl could carry such deep sadness. Determined to bring back Shizuka's smile, Takopii begins using the happiness gadgets he brought from the Happy Planet. The first is a pair of magical wings that let them fly freely through the sky. Takopii hopes that the breathtaking view from above will melt away Shizuka's sadness. Yet, even as they soar among the clouds, her gaze remains empty, as if her mind drifts far away, beyond the joy Takopii offers. Takopii then tries another gadget, a magical camera that prints instant photos. He hopes to capture small moments and catch a glimpse of happiness on Shizuka's face. However, her expression remains the same, blank and emotionless. Takopii begins to notice something odd. Shizuka often needs to buy new clear folders. This is a subtle hint about the troubles she faces at school, though Takopii doesn't fully understand its meaning yet. Through their awkward yet sincere time together, Takopii gradually learns more about Shizuka's life. He finds out about Chappie, Shizuka's beloved dog, who is her only visible source of comfort. Takopii also realizes that there is no father figure in her family. These fragments start to reveal a complex and overwhelming sadness surrounding Shizuka. Naively, Takopii begins to suspect that Shizuka is struggling greatly at school. He tries to help with her homework or other problems, always with the best intentions. However, these well-meaning efforts often lead to unexpected consequences. Instead of helping, his interference sometimes drags Shizuka into more fights and trouble with her classmates. Takopii starts to wonder if his presence might actually be making things worse. In a final attempt to help Shizuka make peace with her friend Marin, seemingly the main source of her school troubles, Takopii gives her a reconciliation ribbon. He explains that the ribbon can restore broken friendships. Takopii hopes it will become a bridge to Shizuka's happiness. However, Shizuka ends up misusing the ribbon, unknowingly setting off a chain of tragic events. The incident with the reconciliation ribbon results in the worst possible outcome. Suddenly, Takopii finds Shizuka in a horrifying state, lifeless. The sight strikes Takopii like a crushing blow. His heart shatters under an immense weight of guilt. How could an alien who came to spread happiness end up witnessing such a tragedy? In the depths of his despair, Takopii remembers one last gadget, the time camera. With trembling hands and a determined heart, he uses it to go back to the past, to the moment when Shizuka's last photo was taken. His mission is now clear. He must prevent Shizuka's death. He must understand the reasons behind her tragic decision. Takopii promises himself that this time he will do everything right. Takopii swears to himself that he will not fail again. He will learn more about Shizuka, diving deep into every hidden detail of her life. He vows to understand why Shizuka feels such sorrow and ultimately help her find the true happiness she has always longed for. This is no longer just a mission to spread happiness. It has become a mission of atonement. The time camera takes Takopii back to the past. He returns to the starting point, reliving the moment he first met Shizuka. But this time, Takopii carries the knowledge of the tragic future. With a stronger resolve, he begins his journey with Shizuka anew, hoping to change the horrifying fate. In this new timeline, Takopii watches Shizuka more closely. Every expression, every breath, every interaction with the world around her. He searches for clues, the threads leading to her deepest sorrow. He notices how often Shizuka isolates herself, avoids eye contact, and seems weighed down by an invisible burden. Takopii starts to realize that Shizuka's issues at school are much more complex than he first thought. They are not just about fights, but systematic bullying, a crushing pressure destroying Shizuka's spirit. Every insult, every scornful glance becomes a thorn in her heart. Takopii feels her pain, even though he lacks human emotions. He shifts his focus to Shizuka's interactions with Marin, who is clearly the main source of her suffering. Takopii observes how Marin often provokes, belittles, and isolates Shizuka. There is an unhealthy power dynamic at play, and Shizuka is always the victim. Takopii must find a way to break this vicious cycle. Takopii realizes that Shizuka does not merely need external happiness gadgets, but genuine understanding and emotional support. She needs someone who truly sees and acknowledges her pain, not just someone who tries to superficially cheer her up. Takopii begins to try a different approach, listening more instead of just offering solutions. Despite Takopii's new approach, the pressure on Shizuka does not lessen. In fact, sometimes it seems to grow even heavier. The harsh words, the isolation, and the daily hurtful incidents keep tormenting her. Takopii watches all this with a restless heart, realizing just how difficult it is to change someone's fate. Takopii starts to wonder, is there something that simply cannot be changed? Is Shizuka's suffering an unalterable fate? Doubt begins to creep into his usually optimistic heart. He realizes that the mission to spread happiness is far more complicated than he had ever imagined. Despite these doubts, Takopii refuses to give up. He recalls the tragic moment of Shizuka's death, and his resolve to prevent it burns even brighter. He will find another way, try a different perspective, even if it means facing difficulties beyond anything he could imagine. Takopii realizes that to truly help Shizuka, he must explore the depths of her heart, understand every hidden trauma and wound. It is not just about physical actions, but also about profound emotional healing. He starts trying to read Shizuka's moods, responding to her unspoken needs. Amidst the deep sorrow, Takopii begins to see a faint source of strength within Shizuka, especially in her relationship with Chappie. The little dog is her emotional anchor, the unconditional love that gives her a tiny bit of strength to keep going. Takopii realizes that Chappie is a key element. Every time Takopii fails to make Shizuka smile or improve her situation, guilt gnaws at his heart. As an alien from the happy planet, he is supposed to bring joy. Yet he feels powerless against Shizuka's overwhelming sorrow. This burden becomes his own. The first episode ends with Takopii having observed and learned a lot from this first time loop. Now, he is more prepared, with a deeper understanding of Shizuka and the world she lives in. But even greater challenges await. He must face Marin, and perhaps even more deeply, the issues within Shizuka's family. Although there is hope, the shadow of tragedy still looms. Takopii knows he must act quickly and wisely. Every small decision can change everything. He senses a threat that has not yet fully revealed itself, an original sin that may be far bigger than he ever imagined. The first episode closes with Takopii standing at the threshold of a new timeline, with a clearer but heavier mission. Can Takopii truly change Shizuka's fate? What dark secrets are still hidden, and how will he face Marin and the coming conflicts? This story is only just beginning. The second episode's narration takes us deeper into Shizuka's wounded past. We're taken back to her childhood, a time that should have been happy, filled with walks and playtime with her father. But those beautiful memories now feel so distant, erased by pain. Shizuka recalls the difficult times of her parents' divorce, an event that left a deep scar on her heart. Shizuka remembers how she once prayed to the stars at night, sincerely wishing that her parents wouldn't separate, hoping her family would stay whole. But that prayer was never answered. This bitter experience shattered her belief in magic, in hope, even in God. She came to believe that magic and even God do not exist, a belief that extinguished the last sparks of hope within her young soul. The scene returns to show Shizuka facing Marin. Their encounters are always filled with tension. Marin never misses a chance to throw harsh, hurtful comments, as if she takes pleasure in seeing Shizuka suffer. Marin's hatred seems to have deep roots, something we do not fully understand yet. Shizuka's suffering deepens when Chappie, her beloved dog, is taken away by force. The reason is cruel. Chappie had bitten someone, and dogs that bite are not allowed to stay in the city. For Shizuka, this is a devastating blow. Chappie was her only source of unconditional love and comfort. Losing him shatters what little strength she had left. Without Chappie by her side, Shizuka sinks even further. At school, she remains the constant target of bullying. Marin and her friends relentlessly tease and mock her, even making cruel jokes about Chappie's absence. Every day at school becomes an unending torture, adding more weight to Shizuka's already fragile shoulders. However, the narration starts to reveal another side of the cruel Marin. Her own home life is full of problems and conflict. Her mother often vents frustrations about Marin's father and their financial struggles. There is a sense of despair that envelops Marin's family, creating an unhealthy atmosphere at home. Not only that, Marin's mother also gets involved in the conflict. She makes demeaning remarks about Shizuka's mother, hinting at a long-standing feud between the two families. This hatred and frustration seem to be inherited from parents to children, creating an endless cycle of animosity. The tension peaks when Marin confronts Shizuka. With words sharp as knives, Marin declares that Chappie is dead and that Shizuka has no one who cares about her. These words are the final nails in the coffin of Shizuka's heart. The situation escalates rapidly. This confrontation leads to an unexpected, tragic event. Marin suddenly collapses, unconscious and helpless. Takopii, who witnesses it all, is overwhelmed with confusion and panic. He doesn't understand how this could have happened and feels an immense burden. Earlier, Shizuka had expressed a dark wish for Marin to disappear. When this wish seems to come true, she is shocked and calls it like magic. This horrifying event paradoxically makes Shizuka reconsider her disbelief in magic. If this magic is real, she thinks, then perhaps Chappie could still be alive. This new belief, although fragile and rooted in illusion, gives Shizuka a faint glimmer of hope. It's her final attempt to cling to something good, something that might bring Chappie back and end her suffering. Takopii notices this new hope, and although he knows it may be misguided, he wants to believe it could save Shizuka. The tragic incident involving Marin has a huge impact on Takopii. He realizes that his mission to spread happiness is far more complex and darker than he ever imagined. The human world is full of complex emotions, hatred and tragedies that are difficult for a being from the happy planet to comprehend. The second episode closes with Shizuka and Takopii moving forward, leaving their painful past behind. The road ahead might not be easy, but they are not alone. Their story is a reminder that even in the deepest darkness, there is always a glimmer of hope to find happiness, if we are willing to keep searching and understanding.